Welcome to Creole and Cajun Living with Bomb Cherry. This is part 2 of my sewing a male's scrub top. Okay, so I left off of part 1 by me creating the pocket template. This pocket template will help you in creating your pockets. So let's get started. Okay, so here I have my pocket pattern piece and I have my pocket template. If you remember, I've taken off the seam allowances off of the template, which means when I put the template on the pattern piece, it's not going to fit perfectly, but it will allow you to fold over the corners, and that would be your seam allowances on all sides, including the top. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my iron with some steam, of course, and I'm just simply folding it over and ironing the creases. Okay, so I slowed this clip down a little bit so I can explain something that you will not see. As I am folding over the seam allowance, at the very top, I also fold that over just by 1/4 of a centimeter, not completely down. Then I flip it over right side up, and then I fold it completely down to the template. If you pay a close attention right here, you'll see that there's a portion of that is folded upwards. Can you see that? Okay, so this is exactly what you need to do. I also want you to know that before I go and sew this, I made sure that the seam allowances on both sides that I creased, that I opened that portion up in the area in which I would be sewing. Okay, that's very important. So I'm taking this over to the machine and I'm just going to do a few stitches along both sides. Now, if you pay attention here, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You see where the crease was made? I opened that up in order to sew that. And now I'm simply just flipping over the pocket. And I'm going to steam across the top once again. I fit my template in just to make sure everything fits. And I'm going to just make sure that everything is lined up correctly. So now I'm going to do an edge stitch, which is close to the edge, right across the top. Okay, so now let's work on the edge here. Clean it up a little bit. I kind of unfold, right, the seam allowance, give it a press in, and then press the two back. And I'm going to iron that back, and you should see how clean the edges are with this technique. Okay, and so now you have a perfect pocket. I'm just going to take off some of the threads, and then I'm going to put a few clips in to make sure everything stays the way they should. I'm going to put it to the side until it's time to sew it onto the front of the shirt. Okay, so now I'm on to the neckband. Looking at the pattern piece, it told me to cut the fabric out at an angle, and that's what I did. And that allows for the fabric in this area to have some stretch to it. So as you can see, I'm taking my neckbands and I'm folding them in half with wrong sides together. I then simply iron them closed and make sure they stay pretty nice and neat. Okay, so now what I'm about to do is place a stay stitch along the neckline of the front shirt pattern piece. It's just a simple stitch that goes from the right to the center and then from the left to the center. Okay, so the pattern piece guide is now telling me to do a stay stitch down the collar band pieces. Okay, so now I'm reading number 7 and it is telling me to now sew up and down and then close up this V on the neckline. Okay, so the next step tells me to pin the neckline in place with the front panel of the shirt. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. And now I'm just ironing it in place. Okay, so now it's time to sew everything together. But not in this video. Make sure to stay tuned for part 3. If you're taking the time out to watch most of this video, please hit the thumbs up. Share it with your family and friends. And don't forget to subscribe.